Hello, this is the DIY Magician, and we're here with another quick pallet project. That's right, we're going to make a pallet shelving unit to contain all of my drill bits, and it's all going to be over at the drill press area. So hang tight. Before we go any further, we're going to need to measure the area. I want to put a shelf between these two drill presses here, and I want to fill in the gap and from top to bottom and 14 inches wide. I've pre-measured. So we've got 14 inches right there, and we've got 29 inches high. So we're going to jot that down, and that's going to be our measurements for the final product. 14 by 29. Because I like things a little rustic, I'm going to use some scraps from my scrap tub here. These are leftover pieces, offcuts, what have you. Some of them are in good shape, some of them not so much. But again, I like rustic, so I'm going to use my scraps to make this shelving unit. If you want a little fancier one, use your best pieces. All right, we have all of the pieces cut out. I've got my 12 and a half inch pieces here. I'll explain that in a second. And my 29 inch pieces right here. Again, we use scraps, so that's a good idea. Now, the reason I am using 12 and a half inch pieces is because when you're making a shelf or an item that's going to fit a specific spot, like I wanted 14 inches, then you need to measure the combined outside pieces, because all of the shelving pieces are going to go in the middle. So this is roughly 1.5 inches for the two pieces, 3/4 inch each. So you subtract 1.5 inches from 14 and you come up with 12 and a half. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to use 12 and a half inch pieces. Very simple to do. What I have found is if you use a clamp of sorts to hold the two pieces together, it makes it a little bit easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all my pieces. I'm going to figure, it's a round piece here, but it's flat on this side. I'm going to figure which one's going to be the top and which pieces are going to go down the middle. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build this upside down. I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to work my way down, because I don't want to have a piece on the bottom, because I want to just be able to slide something under the shelves. Also, in addition to that, I'm going to measure out the shelves using these 4-inch spacers. Now, if you can see behind me right here, I have actually done that before when I used it to make this medicine bottle shelving unit. This is pretty much what we're working on right now. I used a 4-inch spacer on each side. We're going to show you that in a second. But what we're going to need to do is figure out what is going to be the top. Now, because I want to have something to rest on, we'll go ahead and I'll tell you what, we'll use this one here. This is a pretty good one. Let's set these aside. And we're going to start with one of the sides. Okay. Now, this is the easiest part here. Sometimes, if you use two pieces. So one's holding it up, that'll be the bottom end, and then the other one is clamped to the side so that you get both the top and the bottom piece clamped at the same time. Just like that. You want to flush it up, okay, so that the side is nice and equal. All right, and it should stay pretty solid. You might want to hold it up just in case, but it's flush right there. Then you're going to take your drill. Now, what I've done is I have a drill for the drill bit, and I have one for the screws. The screws I'm using are 1.25 inch exterior grade screws. That's pretty much what I use. So let me go ahead and drill a couple of pilot holes. Always use the drill gun or screwdriver, whatever you want to do, drill, to make the pilot holes. It makes it a lot easier when you're doing drywall screws or exterior grade screws. Otherwise, it will literally blow through and crack and everything like that. So let's do this. Get those loaded in the holes. And again, you just want to make sure that it's flush. And holding this up. Never fails. Never fails. Hold on. We're gonna do. This is fun. We're gonna just tighten it up that way. All right, we got it. That was not planned, by the way. Just the fun and excitement of projects. Okay, almost done. Make sure that it's, yep, still flush up. Okay. Now, what I like to do is get it close, and because I don't do a lot of fine woodworking, I don't use the bit with a little deal on it, and I'm sure some of you will tell me what it is, but I don't do that because I just usually will tighten it up afterwards with a hand screwdriver like this, and it flushes it up like that. Okay, so there it is, your first connection. You're going to go ahead and do the same on the other side, and we'll get to that in a second. So hang tight, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, as you can see, we have the top on. Remember, we're doing it upside down. So I've got both of the uprights done, and I have these little block spacers right here, and I placed the next shelf in the spot. Now this is going to be the front, so this is the flushed up area here. Now remember, this is curved, but that's okay because we're going to flip it and it's going to be flat on the other side. Now I did clamp it because usually what I'll do is I'll make a full rectangular setup so that I have a piece up here. I'm doing it a little differently. This is okay, but you clamp it shut so it's nice and snug, and then you go in and make your pilot holes, making sure to get through the right spot there. And okay, get your screws, and just like you did before, you're just going to shoot them on through and fasten it together. I don't use glue when I use these screws because it's a little unnecessary for me. I'm just doing this as a project for around the shop. And again, put those in. Use the screwdriver to tighten it up. If you're in a space like I'm going to be putting it in, it really doesn't matter, but I just do it just for fun. That'll actually lock together that side, and then we're going to go off to the other side and do the same, and I'll come back in a moment. All right, when all's said and done, this is what the prop looks like, or the project looks like. This is the top, all the different shelves. We have this big open space right here. Now you're wondering, how am I going to use this spindly little shelf with no base in that area and be safe? Well, that's a good question, because I actually made up some of these. These are to make sure that you can mount it like this, and it's going to screw. We're going to be able to screw into the actual shelf, or the wall, the shelf into the wall. So you get the idea. So what you're going to want to do, I made them real snug. I sometimes like doing that so that it's easier, so you don't have to use the actual clamps and this and that. So this is a good way to do it. Now I will use a clamp because I want to make sure that it's a good, solid, snug fit there. So here we go. Actually, I'll do one on each. I'll do one side, screw it in, and then we'll do the other side. It's just like anything else. You're using the 1¼ inch screws. Make sure it's flush. Pre-drill. It's the same material. I just ripped it down in the table saw. Put your screw in and send it home with your drill gun, screw gun, whatever. Just like that. I'm going to do one on the top, and I'm going to do one just under the bottom shelf, and then I'll show you how we install it. Okay, we're back at the drill press area. I've already attached the top 2 screws. I'm using 2-inch screws. And I have a oriented strand board wall, so I don't have to worry about finding a stud or anything. But it's as simple as this. You put the little mounts on like I showed you earlier. You put pre-drill a couple of screw holes, and go in a little bit. You see it kind of popping out. You're going to back it out. Not so much, but that's going to pre-start that wall. Again, it's doing it again, so we're going to back out a little bit. And there we go. That one goes all the way in. We're going to do the same on this side. This one not so much because it's already attached to the wall. And there it goes. It's now locked to the wall. You can almost use it as a ladder if you really, well, I don't think you'd want to. But the advantage is, now you have a place to put all of your small accessories. Again, it's a standard pallet. It's the easy one to work with because it's pine. And there we go. Just like that, we now have our drill station, everything organized. Thank you again for coming along. This is the DIY Magician. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.